There are two English idioms that describe how people mindlessly follow popular trends. The first one is jumping on the bandwagon, and the second one is following the herd. Now, to me, both of them seem to have slightly negative connotations, although jumping on the bandwagon has a little bit of a more neutral tone and can be used to describe a simple trend. So for example, fast food restaurants began jumping on the bandwagon to offer customers healthy food options. But overall, in society, we tend to view chasing trends as something that is not perfectly ideal. And we may also view it as something that is unoriginal, young, and immature even. And this slight disdain towards following the herd may be due to the fact that I am a little bit older now and have lost interest in the constant cycle of changing trends. That is one possibility. Or maybe it's just my intrinsic nature that makes me develop this strong dislike towards disingenuous fads and ephemeral trends in general. But what is actually really fascinating is that there is no negative sentiment towards following the herd in Korea. Language-wise, there is no way to negatively portray the act of following the herd or jumping on the bandwagon. In fact, it's actually quite the opposite. In Korea, we use the expression 뒤처지다 or 유행에 뒤처지다. 유행 means popular trend, and 뒤처지다 means lag behind. So 유행에 뒤처지다 means you lag behind the popular trend. It's an old Korean expression that is used commonly to describe something that is out of fashion or outdated. But notice how instead of saying that a thing, idea, or a piece of clothing is out of style, we say a thing, idea, or a piece of clothing is lagging behind, or 뒤처지다. Now, you might think that both expressions mean exactly the same thing, but the underlying nuance behind 뒤처지다 implies that something or someone failed to keep up with a certain standard, whereas something or someone being out of style or old-fashioned can either be a choice or a failure. Does that make sense? Do you see the nuance between these two? So basically, it is not possible to lag behind on purpose, because if you want to describe the act of deliberately lagging behind, you would instead use things like refuse to follow or decide not to follow. But the fact that we use 유행에 뒤처지다 as an idiomatic expression tells us a lot about the general sentiment in Korea. Following the herd isn't considered unoriginal or weak here in Korea. It is rather considered up-to-date and savvy. On the other hand, not following the herd is not considered brave or authentic here. It is rather considered slow or washed up. So it's fascinating how language embedded in our unconscious minds reflects how we actually perceive the world. Or is it the culture that shaped our language in the first place? It's a chicken or the egg type of situation. But one thing for sure is that culture and language are closely intertwined and in an unbreakable mutual relationship. So basically, it all comes down to us as individuals. We would have to be more careful with the words we choose. Or if you want to have a simple, comfortable life, you can always choose to follow the herd.